is an absolute star.
This guy's special. O'Malley came off a Dana White's Contender Series back in 2017.
That is it. Oh, the Sugar Show.
All systems go ever since. He has taken this sport by storm.
He slept in bed.
He's got that hit factor, but more important than anything, this guy can fight.
The Sugar Show!
This is just the beginning of the Sugar era. Cheeto, where you at?
Marlon Cheeto Vera. This is the most decorated finisher in UFC bantamweight history, and he's the only man with a professional victory against Sean O'Malley.
Oh.
Something's wrong with O'Malley's leg.
Yep, his right leg.
Oh!
Huge elbow from Cheeto and another one. That is it.
Welcome to the Cheeto Show. Maestro.
I won the fight, but I'm gonna kick his ass again.
He got super lucky. He knows it. I'm gonna knock him out.
Started up, we finish. Never running out of energy. Keep it going, I ain't minutes.
Sean O'Malley's a master at knocking people unconscious.
Marlon Cheeto Vera.
He's one of the most dangerous. Any mistakes, and he will put you off.
Started up, we finish.
The Diamond of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Dustin Poirier. A certified UFC legend.
Benoit Saint-Denis.
We're looking at a future star in the lightweight division.
I'm coming for everybody.
Never running out of energy.
A lot of fans wondered if this would ever happen.
Without a doubt, that man is the guy we want to see.
He's taken on Kevin Holland.
He is one of the most complete mixed martial artists in the game.
He can be a real problem for anyone in the division.
The UFC's return to Miami.
Keep it going, I ain't minutes.
Let's go, baby!
Alright, so this is a Nove Education podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back yet again. As always, I am your host, Noved. It is Wednesday morning, March the 6th, and I hope everybody's doing all right. Having a good work week. I know it is the middle of the week, ladies and gentlemen, but hey, let's power through this bitch, right? Let's power through this bitch. I've started a new work schedule, but shouldn't change the outcome of the show right now. So, but I'm just saying, things is looking just a little bit more better. So, if I could give you guys some of this good energy and make you have a good, I don't know, what are we, about 30 to 45 minutes, or make you have a good rest of your day, that'll be dope. That'll be mission accomplished for me. You know what I mean? All the bullshit that goes on in the world, you know, we got stuff to talk about. We got things to do, right? This past weekend, I went to go see Dune Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. That shit. Let me tell you something.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Before we get into these fight shits, if you have not seen the Dune series, bro, watch the first one. The first one, Dune Part 1, is kind of slow. I believe right now it's on Hulu and it's everywhere right now, so you to go watch it. It's long. It's slow, excuse me. And there's a lot of talking, but the scenes, the visuals, the score in that movie, the first one, talking about the first one, it's beautiful. It's all beautiful. It's a good movie. If you can get through that movie, use subtitles, please. I encourage you to use subtitles because there's some scenes and some names and some voices where you need to read, where you're not going to get it the first time. If you get through that movie and understand, have a kind of understanding of what's going on in that world, Dune Part 2, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best movies I have ever seen. I know, dog. Look at it. I go watch a movie every week, right? I go whatever it may be. And there's only been a few movies where like I'm super fucking excited. You know, the only ones I could kind of remember, like in a saga, you know, like the Harry Potter sagas, the MCU when it was fucking MCU sagas. That's I think that's about it. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't been this excited for a movie since I believe I want to say Guardians, maybe. And I knew it had to be a good movie just because strictly off of what the story was leading to, strictly off the visuals, strictly off the score of the movie, the sounds. I believe it was Hans Zimmerman, right? dog, in the middle of the movie, I turn over because I went with the coworkers and them, and my girl. I turn over and I said, "This is such a badass fucking movie." And I don't want to ruin anything for you guys because it's early. I know. I encourage you guys to go watch it in IMAX or what is it, DFX. Don't do that 40X bullshit. That 40X shit. If you're gonna do 40X, go do it for like go do it for a cute little movie. Like don't go do it for this one. This one's long. This one is action packed. This one is there's love. There's comedy. There's mystery, there's betrayal, there's all this shit, bro. There's the twists in the end. It is one of the best movies I have ever seen. Like the Dark Knight series, like shit like that. Like it goes on top of that. And I know, I just feel like as a moviegoer, and I got the platform to talk to you guys, and if you're listening, go watch that shit. Please. All right.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
UFC 299. What a great segue. What a great segue. UFC 299 is this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, in Miami. Finally, the highly anticipated, I would say highly anticipated card. This is probably the best card thus far of the year. Even it's better than 300. I mean, we can talk about all the bullshit that's surrounding 300 right now. It is what it is. Clear and present is 299, and this is as far as matchups, as far as star power, as far as legacies, as far as championship, like titles, contentions on the lines, contenders, all that shit. This has that right here. And of course, we start off with the main event of the evening, the rematch, the bantamweight title bout. We have the bantamweight king right now, newly king, Sugar Sean O'Malley, ladies and gentlemen, versus my boy. You guys know, if you guys been listening, you guys know I'm a huge fan. This is my favorite fighter in the UFC. We got Marlon Chito Vera, ladies and gentlemen. And look, last fight Marlon Chito Vera fought was not a good fight. Didn't look like his fight at all. But it looked like definitely a way to kind of combat his slow approach to the game. Marlon fought against, who was it? Corey Sandhagen, the Sandman. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. And Corey, he brought the fight to him. He kind of put that pressure on him. He put that wrestling. And Corey is one of those fighters who's well-versed in everything. When you say jack of all trades, master of none, he's probably a master of all trades, like in the fight game. So props to Corey Sandhagen putting hands on Chito. But the story between Chito Vera and Sugar Sean O'Malley is that Chito is the only fighter to defeat Sugar Sean O'Malley. Now, all the, I hate to do this, but all the youngsters, like all the Twitch people, all the TikToker people, they don't count that. They don't count that. And even though I am a big fan of Chito, let's put all that shit aside. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
The reason why they don't count it is because Sugar Sean hurt his foot or his ankle or something like that. I rewatched the fight in without no commentary though. I rewatched the fight without no commentary, just in silence, real quick, and I did see that he was injured a bit. You know what I'm saying? He did end up fighting because he is a fighter. And then he gets caught with the straight hand, gets sat down, and then that's all she wrote for Sugar Sean, right? Now, if it was the other way around, there is no way we would be saying, oh, it didn't count, right? Because why? Because Chito Vera is a professional fighter, has to be prepared for anything and everything. You know, you have to be prepared for, if an injury happens, what are you going to do? If you get clocked with the right hand you didn't see, what are you going to do? What's your muscle memory going to do? And a lot of people, like, they compare it to the another Conor McGregor comparison. Sugar Sean O'Malley, just to let y'all know. We should be counting these comparisons, right? If you have been a faithful listener, count all these Conor McGregor comparisons, bro. Anyways, another Conor McGregor comparison was when he fought Dustin Poirier, who is on this card. He fought him, and he broke his leg, and that's how the fight ended. Now, do you think Conor McGregor lost that fight? Because I do. Reason why I bring that up is because when Dustin Poirier was kicking the shit out of Conor, and he was kicking the shit out of him, Conor chose to check it, right? You could have backed up away, you could have taken the kick, but you chose to check it. Now, the check is what fractured Conor McGregor's bone. Reason why I'm bringing that up is because the kick that Chito Vera landed on Sugar Sean O'Malley's foot was the reason why he got injured. So I cannot say that it didn't count when it does count. When things like this happen, there's fighters never go 100% ready to go in the octagon, you know? And then someone had brought up to me, well, do you count John Jones, right? That John Jones loss, right? That no one counts. Oh, what the hell? You can't do that. It's a double standard. No. Did John Jones get kicked in the arm and his arm went flying one way and he got knocked down and got the shit beat out of him? No. Reason why John Jones has a loss, for those of you guys who don't know, it was a disqualification. Dude was whooping ass all fight, but got a disqualification for a 6-12 elbow, which was illegal, and I believe it's still illegal in the UFC. And that is a totally different thing. But in the professional cards, that counts as a loss too. So, yes, Marlon Chito Vera, the only fighter to defeat Sugar Sean O'Malley up to now, and this should be a good fight. Now, when you become a champion, as it has been said time and time and again, you immediately become 30% better. And I did see that with Sugar Sean O'Malley. I saw that when he fought Aljamain Sterling, he already had championship material around him. You know, just 3 fights ago, he was fighting outside of the top 10, right? Ends up moving up to fight Petr Yan, who at the time was one of the baddest motherfuckers, right? You got the Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling beef, you know, that shit that happened with the illegal knee. And then you have Petr Yan coming back and losing to the champ because Aljo got 30% better. And then you got Petr Yan going up against, I forget someone else, but he ends up going up against Sugar Sean O'Malley. And everyone thought, well, what the fuck? Like this is too quick. This is too much for Sugar Sean, right? Ends up doing work on Petr Yan, bro. Doing good work. And actually really, really gets the attention of like a lot of doubters. I'm not saying I was a doubter, but I was one of those ones saying, hey, this is too fast. Petr Yan might be too much. Then, as you remember, if you remember the episode, we went over it. I forget which episode it was, but I broke it down. And as I'm breaking it down, I said, this fight favors Sugar Sean O'Malley against a fighter like Petr Yan. Because Petr Yan kind of starts off slow, downloads the data, because up to then, Petr Yan had fought in 2 5-round fights, which benefited him, right? Even though he lost both of them, one by disqualification, one he did end up losing by, he just got his ass beat. So I thought, if Sugar Sean O'Malley, because Sugar Sean got them sticks, bro. He can crack as well, as we seen against Aljo. He got them sticks. I thought that if he could just keep up the pace for those first 2 rounds, or win 2 rounds, the last 2 rounds, he could win this fight. He could steal this fight. Ends up doing that. goes up against Aljamain Sterling, who Aljo has been known to. He's like one of the baddest. People say he's the best bantamweight of all time. I could agree. I can't. There's a debate there. Anyways, Aljo would use his wrestling, his grappling, his pressure, and other fighters who would try to fight him, they would try to do the same thing. But that is not, that is not the way you beat an Aljo. The way you beat an Aljo is you got to be long and lanky like Sugar Sean. You got to have them sticks, and you got to out punch him. And we tested his chin. Sugar Sean tested his chin, and he ends up knocking him out, becoming the bantamweight champion. Now, on Chito Vera's side, I always say, every time when Chito has a 5-round fight, I am never betting against him. Why? Because he also is one of those fighters who starts off slow, downloads data, gets your striking pattern. I'm building the legend up a little bit more, but that is usually what every commentator, every professional fighter says. Even Chito himself has says, he likes to see what you're doing, right? And it didn't work against Corey Sandhagen because Corey took it right to him, But Corey and Sugar Sean are two totally different fighters. But here's the caveat. Here's the one thing. If Sugar Sean, we have not seen all of Sugar Sean's arsenal, and there's a lot of talk that he is a great all-around fighter, which I agree, but we have not seen it under the lights in a 5-round championship fight, let alone championship defense, right? His first championship defense. If Sugar Sean can do whatever blueprint that Corey Sandhagen kind of laid out, then Sugar should be able to roll through Chito Vera, right? Of course, there's a lot of people, and even Chito says himself, he had an off night, wasn't feeling it, blah, 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 ends up taking the L. If Sugar Sean comes out and tries to strike with Chito, I think that towards the later rounds, I think Chito was going to end up getting him with the straight. I think Chito Vera has one of the best straights in the UFC right now. Precise and accurate. And of course, he always has that deadly kick. But being Sugar Sean, he's able to fight with all these fighters, and he hasn't really been in a 5-round fight. So that is one big thing that we're going to have to test. Can Sugar Sean take it all the way to 5 rounds? Can Chito Vera download fast enough to knock him out? Right? If it goes to decision, I do think that Sugar Sean will win, because from what I've seen with Sugar Sean O'Malley is he doesn't really sit back and counter. He counters, but he's a little aggressive with it. He also is a little aggressor. He was putting pressure on Petr Yan. He was backing up from Aljo a little bit, but he was still throwing. He was doing a lot of work. Whereas Chito, he'll throw 3 strikes to your 6 strikes. You know what I mean? So if it goes 5 rounds, I do think that Sugar Sean wins, but I am going to be taking my boy Marlon Chito Vera, ladies and gentlemen. A TKO in the 4th round. I think if it goes that far, then I think that there's not too much that Sugar Sean can throw at Chito that's going to surprise him up to that point. Unless there's some miraculous thing and Sugar Sean is that guy and we've all been right about him and all that shit, that story. Personally, I'm on the Chito side on this, so you guys let me know who you got. Hey, the story is there for Sugar Sean, bro. He seems to be one of these fighters where it just happens, where you can kind of tell if he gets this done, if he knocks out Chito, he will be above just normal fighters. You know what I mean? He kind of transcends the sport at that point. He steps into not the levels of the McGregors and shit like that, but he's definitely in that light now. We can talk about that. So we'll see. Let me know who you guys got. The co-main event, bro. This is going to be a badass fight. I wish this was a 5-round fight as well. Let's start doing that, Dana. Come on. Let's start doing that. You know we want these fights, these to be 5 rounds, like these big fights. Well, maybe to not the casual fans, but you see, I don't like to say casual and then I don't like to say hardcore. Like I'm like somewhere in the middle, like leaning towards the casual side, you know? Not quite a casual, definitely not a hardcore. So I don't know where I would put that, but I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in at almost every event, almost every fight night. I'm tuning in. If you have not seen this dude, Benoit Saint Denis, fight, he is a fucking monster, bro. He is a badass. He is a fucking, what is it, a French Green Beret? Is that what they're called? A French Navy SEAL? I don't know. Last fight he fought against, I believe it's one of the, I forget what Bonfim brother it was. And yeah, I don't want to look it up right now because whatever. The Bonfim brothers were coming up. They were the fucking shit in like the fight nights. They were the shit. This fool, Benoit Saint Denis, ends up sleeping him in cold fashion. And then you look at in the back of what Benoit Saint Denis has done up to that point. Dude is a fucking monster, bro. Now, I've hinted at this fight the past 2 episodes because I kind of wanted to get you guys ready if you guys have been listening. I've been hinting at this fight because this fight is a fucking absolute, like, woo! And we got Dustin Poirier. Dustin the Diamond Poirier, fan favorite. Everybody knows Dustin. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
Now, there was like contractual issues that was going on. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on, but for the number 12th ranked lightweight to go up against, to face the number 3rd, the 3rd ranked lightweight coming off a big win versus Michael Chandler, the Michael Chandler submission. That's big for Benoit Saint Denis. It's big for Dustin Diamond Poirier too, because Dustin, I wouldn't call him old because Dustin is always game. He's a game fighter and he was always going to be ready. He's going to show up, be professional about it. He's not going to blame his loss on a fucking ankle, rolling his ankle. You know, he's going to show up and fucking be ready to play, ready to fight. You don't play, you fight. But there is talks that, you know, that he is getting older and this can be the last, like, hoorah to the lightweight belt. I don't think so. I think being a veteran that he is in the octagon, that time in the octagon that he has had, has made him into one of the most dangerous and skilled fighters. We all know, like, his skills in the octagon, but as far as going up against the top guys, the Chandlers, Gaethjes, Khabibs, McGregors, Holloways, you know, those type of fighters, that's different. You know, as badass as Saint Denis is, he has not gone up against a top 5 caliber fighter. And who better than the top 5est of caliber fighters in the lightweight division, which is Dustin Poirier, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know that pressure is big for me, right? Pressure is big. Benoit Saint Denis' pressure is going to have to be inevitable. It's going to have to be seen big enough in order to put Dustin into some danger, because Dustin, he sets traps. He's able to take a hit. But on the other side too, we've seen Dustin get knocked out. We've seen Dustin get hurt. Well, we've also seen him get hurt and then come back. So I'm never counting out Dustin. I think the time in the octagon for Dustin Poirier is the winner for this. So I'm going to be taking Dustin the Diamond in a split decision. I anticipate that this fight will be one of the best fights of the year. This is similar. This will be similar to Dustin Chandler, similar to Khamzat Burns, similar to, you know, those type of bloody just fights. A lot of people think that there's going to be a knockout. I was originally thinking I was coming into this recording saying it was going to be a knockout by somebody. But talking through it, now, like, see, I do the shit live, bro. I don't come in, like, I got some notes, but I just come in and break it down like live. Breaking it down, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I don't think Dustin is going to try to exchange with this guy. I think Dustin is going to try to out-veteran this guy, outsmart him, outwit him in the octagon, and win the fight. I think it'll be a split decision because Saint Denis is gonna want to fucking aggress and land. And if he lands, I pray Dustin got that chin. So I am gonna be going with Dustin Poirier. Get back to me on Saturday though with this fight because I need some days to think about it. All right, next in the welterweight division, we have a much highly anticipated UFC debut versus one of my favorite fighters, bro. This is kind of like rookies versus veterans here, but I don't see it like that in this one. We have my boy number 13 right now in the welterweight division, Kevin Big Mouth Holland versus the UFC debut of the, I would like to say legend. I've seen only a couple of his fights, but I've also heard of this fool's name many times, and I've seen a lot of his highlights. This is Michael Venom Page, ladies and gentlemen, finally in the UFC. There is the, what do you call it? The mysterious, the ominous, like kind of like, oh, this guy, he's finally in the UFC, like it's kind of like one of those things like, he was meant to be here for a while. Yes, Michael Venom Page is one of the baddest. He has everything in the arsenal. If you recall, the last time that I seen him fight was it one championship? I'm not sure, but I did see him fight bare knuckle against Platinum Mike Perry, and yeah, he is a great boxer. Even though Platinum Mike ended up pulling off the victory, to go bare knuckle against Platinum Mike and to go that distance, I think you got to have a chin and you got to have them sticks, boy. So that's going to be a lot. You're going to have, straight everything against Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer, Big Mouth. And I'm going to be taking Kevin Holland in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fucking go, baby.
Who do you think you are?
Let's go. Yes,
Right.
Michael Venom Page is one of like the best MMA fighters, mixed martial artists like that has been around, but yet has not been in the UFC. Now, for me, Kevin Holland has been in the UFC for a minute, and he has fought pretty much everybody that's come his way. And to me, he's in the welterweight division? In the welterweight division right now, because he was a lightweight, I believe, right? Lightweight. No, he was a middleweight. In the welterweight division right now, he has been looking great. There is only a few fights that are kind of like a blemish on his record. One being that Khamzat fight, which was that skirmish. I remember that, the Tony Ferguson and what's his name? What the fuck's his name? Come on. I'm Diaz. Nate Diaz. There we go. Fucking idiot. Remember the Nate Diaz Tony Ferguson fight? That's where he fought Khamzat. Kevin Holland fought Khamzat on literally the night's notice. Then he comes back and then he fights fucking Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson, and they kind of had this friendly battle off where they wouldn't take it to the ground. So I think that Kevin Holland is a badass all around fighter. I think he's great at jiu-jitsu. I think he's great at grappling, great at pressure, great at striking, which is what Michael Venom Page is as well. Kickboxing, grappling, jiu-jitsu. Now, this is going to be the clash. I'm rooting for Kevin Holland, 1, because he's my boy. 2, because he is somewhat of a standard of the UFC. If Michael Venom Page comes in and just starches Kevin Holland, then that kind of puts him into another stratosphere like Michael Chandler when he came in. What's his name? Brock Lesnar when he came in. Just to let you know, like, okay, these guys are different now. I would like to think that the roster of the UFC is so great that even the ranked 13th fighter, right? That's what Kevin Holland is. I think that he is still a bad motherfucker, bad enough to beat a Michael Venom Page. So I'm taking Kevin Holland. I may not be in the majority in this, but for me, I think if Kevin Holland wins, it'll put him in a lot of people's eyes. It'll put him up there. It should be about top 5, definitely top 10 after this win. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see. I'm gonna take my boy Kevin Holland in that fight. And look at this fight, baby. We got in another welterweight fight. We have the number 4 ranked welterweight, Gilbert Durinho Burns, finally returning to the octagon after his loss to Bilal Muhammad. Remember, if you guys recall, he had took the fight against Masvidal, ends up beating Masvidal, and then I think in a quick turnaround, it might have been like within a few months, like 2 months, goes up and fights Bilal Muhammad for the top contender for the next contender for the chip, right, against Leon Edwards or whoever it may have been. Ends up losing against Bilal Muhammad, takes some time off, and now he's back in the octagon, back in Miami to face off against another, like, I guess, young shooting star in the UFC with the UFC roster right now. We have Jack Della Maddalena out of Australia. Let me tell you something. Jack Della is a fucking beast. He has superstar written all over him. If he can take the fight to Gilbert Burns, if he could take him out, I think this will put him definitely into top 5. And he's going to be fighting up against probably the winner between Benoit Saint Denis or Dustin Poirier, because, you know, we got Gaethje versus Holloway, and, you know, that's that stupid shit. Or, you know, it depends. If Dustin wins, Dustin may very well call out Makhachev, and then Saint Denis can fight the winner of this fight, depending on how this fight goes. So there's a lot of implications on this card, just let alone this card. And this is the division right here, the welterweight division. There's 3 welterweight fights, bro. So if Jack Della can do it, that will put him a shooting star up to contender shit. Like, he will be in the top 5, top 6. If Burns wins, then I think that will be a notch inside the welterweight bout. Because if he wins, he definitely can go ahead and fight for that title. You know what I mean? Oh wait, I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Yeah, no. Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint Denis are lightweight fighters. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways, Jack Della. If Jack Della starches him, he will be in the top 10 definitely, but top 6. I would say it's gonna put him up there. He's gonna be with fighters, you know, in that welterweight division, like you know, the Ian Gary, Stephen Thompson, Jeff Neal, and those type of names. Not necessarily the Rakhmanovs or the Bilal Muhammads or the Usmans. You know, he's going to be in just out of that top 4, maybe that top 6, top 7. If Burns wins, he has another chance at that run at that title. If he wins, I would love to see a rematch between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. I think right now, where they're both at in their careers, they fought once and it was very emotional, right? I think if they were to fight now, it would be all business. So I am going to be taking Gilbert Burns, ladies and gentlemen.
Who do you think you are?
And it's a 3-round fight.
Get it right.
I'm going to be taking Gilbert Burns by decision. I think I'm going to take Gilbert Burns by decision, and it should be a good fight. If Jack Della can stay on his feet and keep Burns at bay, then, you know, it could be a long night for Burns. But I think just the pressure, the time in the octagon, the fighters that Burns, I'm going to be using this. I mean, I've used this all episode. The fighters that Burns have fought, I think is just that much more better. It betters you. You know what I'm saying? You're only as good as your opponents and your weakest opponents. So I think Burns has fought some of the best fighters. And if Burns is able to pull this off, it's going to be off of pressure. It's going to be off of the jiu-jitsu, grappling. And if he wants to stand there and bang with him, and all right, I'm cool with that. But I don't think that would be the way to go. But either way, I'm still taking my boy Gilbert Burns. And it seems like I'm going with the veterans today, baby. Seems like I'm going with the veterans on this one. All right, next, to open up the main card, we have a bantamweight bout. This is the number 4th ranked bantamweight, Petr Yan, versus the number 7th ranked Song Yadong. I think this is a great matchup for this weight class right now. We have the championship set up. We have Merab already. He's probably next. Merab Davishali is probably next. Corey, I believe, is recovering from surgery. So Song Yadong and Petr Yan is definitely a fight where, like, hey, whoever wins this fight is definitely going to move up. Maybe we'll fight Henry Cejudo. Who knows? Aljo's still in the mix. I believe Aljo is fighting in the 300. So we're going to have to see. This division is moving right now. And it's very fun to watch, right? So Petr Yan coming off tough times. I think Petr Yan is one of those fighters who has one of the best boxing. You know, you talk about Topuria, you talk about Dustin, you know, those type of fighters who their boxing is very, very tight. You know what I'm saying? And Petr Yan is able to bring pressure. Now, when he fought Sugar Sean O'Malley, the pressure was brought to him, and it kind of opened people's eyes to, we're like, fuck, what would have been if Petr Yan didn't land that illegal knee? You know, right? It's something that happened, and we got to keep bringing it up when you bring the name Petr Yan up, because look at what happened. Dude was the throne. He was the heir to the throne. And now he's trying to get back into contention. I think that motivation will get him to be where his peak level of fighting is. And against a fighter like Song Yadong, you need to have that type of mentality and that type of fighting style, because Song Yadong is no fucking joke. He is one of the baddest motherfuckers. He's 27, he's 21-7 and won no contest, but all that time in the octagon leads me to believe that he will pull off the upset. And I don't know if it's an upset. Yeah, he's the underdog right now. So I'm going to be taking Song Yadong in this fight. Petr Yan. I really, really, really wanted to take Petr Yan. I wanted to keep the veterans going. But I think that Song Yadong is way, way more motivated right now, because if he can beat a Petr Yan, he can probably go ahead and fight Chito Vera, or if Chito loses, or he can go ahead and fight a Triple C, or he can go ahead and fight again Corey Sandhagen, you know, shit like that. There's a lot of moves. With Petr Yan, he's probably going to end up fighting. If he wins, he will probably fight Triple C. You know what I'm saying? Or if Chito loses, he'll probably fight Chito. But you know what I'm saying? The storylines are pretty much like there's a lot of things that could happen right here in the bantamweight. So, you know, but I will be taking Petr Yan. My bad. I wanted to go all veterans in the game, but you know, Song Yadong is a veteran, 21-7. That's a lot of fights, my boy. That is a lot of fights. So he's a killer, bro. And he's from China. It's China versus Russia. You know, that's crazy. Also, another fight, which I am treating this as a main card fight, even though it ends the prelims. We got Curtis Blades versus Jailton Almeida. The number 5 Curtis Blades versus the number 7 Jailton Almeida. You guys know, if you guys have been listening, I've been talking about Jailton for a minute already. He is the dude. He is the dude who I am putting my chips in to be the champion. You know what I'm saying? So he has badass pressure. He is strong as fuck. He looks like a baby of Mike Tyson. He's a Brazilian baby of Mike Tyson. And he has great jiu-jitsu. Now, on the other side, Curtis Blades, he's one of those fighters who people are trying to make him out to be like the gatekeeper of that heavyweight division. I may have said it on time, but Curtis Blades is one of the baddest fighters. And I don't know why when it gets to those like contender fights or the fight to go to the chip for the belt, I don't know why he he doesn't show up, because dude has great striking. Dude has probably the best wrestling, right? So now, if he can combat Jailton Almeida's wrestling and, you know, with pressure and kind of keep the fight standing up, then I do think Curtis Blade has a chance. I'm not taking that chance. I'm going with my boy Jailton Almeida all the fucking way. Since his first fight, I seen him fight in the UFC, I knew this dude was different. And now here it is. If if he can get a spectacular win off of Curtis Blades, and no disrespect to Curtis. Curtis is one of the best fighters in the world. No disrespect. I just think if Jailton Almeida can get a big finish off Curtis Blades, this will put him in a lot of people's eyes as a next contender for the championship, bro. Maybe one fight next, maybe to kind of solidify it, because, you know, the whole John Jones, Aspinall shit that's up there. I think if he finishes him clearly in badass fashion, he has to be next up for that title, bro. If Curtis Blade beats him, it kind of just puts another win under his notch. Okay, like you may be 4, so you may just go up to 3. Jailton Almeida, not a household name. In Brazil, he's a badass, but you know what I mean? As far as the American market, Jailton is not up there. So way much more to gain for Jailton if he beats Curtis Blades. Excuse me. So I'm taking my boy Jailton Almeida. I'm taking him all the way to win it. You guys already know. We have Matisse Gamrot fighting RDA. I'm about to take Gamrot. I think Gamrot is still one of those contenders in the lightweight division, and he could be someone that can, catch fire. And because the lightweight division right now is a little patchy. It has you don't really know what's going on. There's this, there's that. So, there's kind of, there's all that to it. So I think if Gamrot could get some kind of fire up under him in the next few fights and get some wins, a title shot looks clear if he can do it. There's the history, there's new blood, there's, he's supposed to fight homeboy, I forget his name, and there is a story there with Gamrot. Then we have Pedro Munoz back in the octagon again against Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips, an absolute fucking badass. I'll take Kyler Phillips right there. Ion Cutelaba versus Felipe Lins. That's a light heavyweight bout that I think you guys should tune into. It will be a quick fight. Both fighters are they're set to win by TKO. So if you like TKOs, tune into Cutelaba versus Lins. Then we have Michel Pereira back in the octagon again. Obviously one of the most exciting fighters that we have seen in the octagon. And I wouldn't expect anything less after this fight. You know what I'm saying? But that is UFC 299. Those are my fighters. So I'm going with off the top I'm going with Jailton Almeida. I'm going him with a TKO. I'm going with Song Yadong in decisions. I'm going with Gilbert Burns by decision. I'm going with Kevin Holland. I'm going with Kevin Holland by submission. Fuck it, let's go. I'm going with Dustin Poirier by decision. Then I'm going with Marlon Chito Vera taking that strap, that bantamweight strap by a TKO. Who do you guys got, ladies and gentlemen? Also, I want to say shout out to Brian Ortega for beating Yair Rodriguez. That was the highlight of the UFC fight night 2 fight nights ago. That was the highlight, where he rolls his ankle at the beginning of the fight. Look it, Brian Ortega rolled his ankle at the beginning of that fight. Had he lost, would you guys have said that don't count? No, he won. He ended up winning. Only thing about that is that at the end, he kind of didn't really say that he wanted to go get that title. UFC was kind of pushing for Yair versus Topuria because they don't like each other. They hate each other. You know what I'm saying? Yair ends up losing. So I think it was the time for Brian Ortega to kind of like take that hey, that's mine. Take that flame back. Didn't really do it. He kind of gave props to Volk, and I think Volk has to, there's a lot that Brian Ortega could have done, but I do want to say shout out to him. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. In other fight news, we do have Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, I believe on Friday night. Is it Friday night? Saturday morning? I need to check it up again, but hopefully I'm off work early enough to watch it, and hopefully I'm up early enough if it is early, because I know it is in Saudi Arabia. But bruh, this is an eye opener for a lot of people. So in the last fight, Francis Ngannou, he fought against Tyson Fury, right? Whatever you think may happen, Tyson did win that fight. But the big story, so Tyson won the fight, Francis won the night. I think the big story with that was that Francis was able to hang, and not only hang, change the momentum and actually could have won that fight against Tyson Fury, right? But then there's a lot of things. I think everything has a lot of play into that fight. Maybe Tyson didn't take it too seriously. Francis is the real deal. It's not or this or that. I think it's everything, right? It's the power. It's the Tyson not taking it seriously. It's the Francis is the real deal. It's the stage. I think it's all that, right? So now, when fighting Anthony Joshua, and Joshua is one of the better boxers, and he's falling on hard times because of the Usyk losses and then the Ruiz knockout. But Joshua is one of the best fighters in boxing, as far as the top guys, the heavyweight guys. And if we can get a Joshua to kind of learn how to adapt to fighters when he's losing, that's a dangerous Joshua, right? And I say we because, yes, I am a boxing fan. I'm a fan of both. I'm not an old head boxing fan, and I'm not a new head UFC fan. I'm a fight fan. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the difference between boxing and MMA, right? So now that Joshua has tape to look on Francis Ngannou, how does Francis... No, not how. What does Francis add to keep that kind of edge, to keep that kind of unknown commodity, unknown waters? How does he keep that edge to maybe surprise and upset, because it will be an upset, Anthony Joshua? So we're going to see. I'm excited for that. Either way, Francis Ngannou is, he's one of the just badass personalities that I have ever seen right now. And it's dope to follow this dude's story. So tune into that. I have been paying attention to the Devin Haney and Garcia shit. Right now, you got the Garcia, some shit that's going on with him in his life. First and foremost, hope he's doing all right. But we will get into that fight come fight night. I hope he's doing all right. And I hope that fight goes through, bro. Because if he's not ready to fight, call out, step out. Fuck it. But, I hope that fight goes through, because I was one of the people saying that Devin Haney is he's not the most skilled, but he is the most driven and disciplined boxer of all these young champions, right? But I have said that if Ryan Garcia can take something from the Davis fight and kind of hone that energy and use it to his advantage, he does have an advantage over Haney as far as the length of the arms. I don't believe Haney has fought somebody as long as he is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested in that fight, right? I'm interested in that fight. You guys let me know what you guys think. I don't want to hear none of the outside shit. I hope everything's cool. I don't give a fuck about the outside shit. Hope he's cool, and that's it, Then we got the Canelo shit. The Canelo leaving PBC is a fucking bummer. It's a bummer. Yeah, we know Canelo is his own man. He can do whatever. It's a fucking bummer, bro. Not that saying he's a coward. Not to say that he's running away from fights. It is a bummer because in PBC, we could have had badass fights, But now, supposedly, with the zone, he may be fighting Jaime Munguia. So, that's still a cool fight too. But I would have liked to seen a Crawford. Would have liked to seen a Benavidez. Would have liked to see the other Charlo brother. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And I think that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all I got for you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will catch you guys later. Let me know who you guys have winning these fights. And very, very anticipated for it. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
All right, so this is a Nove Education podcast.